Link came.
Yes, sir.
Anybody missing? Don shoot the land. Once again. Saurabh Sagar.
Yes, sir.
So we are going to discuss about a operating system. This is operating system slides, guys. Again, this one also I'm not going to write on the running notes. So what you will do? So you can go through this link to access that one. So that is helpful. Last class. I don't know what is last class means. No pardon for me. This is operating system PPTs. Okay. Check all the previous history, guys. So each one we have a links, right? So the links, everything you can save in one place. Otherwise you will forget. So whether you have a material or not. Okay. That's the point. Any which ways, I'm just talking from operating system PPT one only. Record is already started. What is an operating system? What is an operating system? Guys, you have a computer. Computer means first one is hardware part. Hardware part. CPU, RAM, okay, hard disk. Okay, so these are all hardware devices we discussed, right? We have a CPU is there, motherboard is there, RAM is there, ROM is there, BIOS is there, right? Hard disk are there, CD-ROM is there, like that. You have a hardware part. Now I want to run a program on my hardware. For example, I learn my Python. Okay, learn a Python. I want to run a Python on my system. How to run? We cannot understand what hardware can understand, what CPU can understand, we cannot understand. We don't know that language. Not only me, a lot of people don't know. People who are using computers and mobile phones, still they don't know how this hardware understand your commands, right? So you want to run a program, like maybe it is a Python program, or maybe a JavaScript, or maybe some kind of application. Like this paintbrush is one application, notepad is one application, web browser is an application, right? I want to play games. Okay, so whatever I want to run, I cannot run without operating system. This operating system interact with your hardware. Operating system can understand how to interact with the hardware and hardware components. And operating system also provide a interface or a platform to run programs. And operating system also provide user interface. Okay, operating system provide a user interface for I have to interact to my computer. How to interact to the computer? Through operating system only. I want to run an application. Application has to run. Of course, it need an operating system support. Without operating system support, you cannot able to run because you have to write program for hardware. It is not much easy. Okay, and operating system also controls your hardware components, and the operating system know how to interact with these hardware components. For example, I have a VLC player. I'm playing a song, audio song. So that application understand how to play a song means how to decode the song content, convert into operating system will convert into that code, so means audio understandable, hardware understandable. But operating system will help to do that one and it passes this song code to do through this hardware chipset. Okay, audio chip. So then audio chip is again convert into the original song format and give it to the speaker. You can able to listen. Okay. So these are the things happens in your system. So your operating system is intermediate between user and hardware. Operating system provide user interface. Operating system will run your applications and programs. Operating system interact with your hardware. Okay, so those are the points. So what is an operating system can do? Operating system is a software which acts as the interface between end user and computer hardware. Operating system is a software which acts as an interface between end user and computer hardware. Every computer must have at least one operating system to run other programs. You want to play a game, the game cannot be played directly on hardware. We need a operating system, right? You want to run an applications like a Google Chrome or MS Office or maybe games or maybe a VLC player. We need some environment which is to run this applications or perform their task. Operating system helps you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak computer language. What is computer language? Low level language. Some people will confuse here, guys. Computer level language means it's a low level language. What is high level language? Our languages, English, Telugu, Hindi, Marathi, whatever it is a high level language. Human speaking languages are high level languages generally. That is natural languages, normal languages, whatever it is. Okay. But generally, high level language means Java, Python, all these things also comes under high level language programming level. But computer understands binary code, computer understand ASCII formats, computer understand, okay, the hardware component can understand hexa codes, binary languages, ASCII format kind of stuff. If you have any known thing, assembly language is not a high level, not a low level language, but assembly language is also a language to program a computer. It is not much easier as writing a C or Java program, but still it is also a language, so assembly language. I'm not going to that much, okay? So you don't know how to speak computer language, but still you can able to work with your computer because of you have an operating system. Without operating system, user is unable to access their computer. They cannot able to work with the computer or a mobile devices, right? So nowadays, a lot of people are using a mobile phones like that, right? You guys understand what is an operating system statement?
Yes, sir.
Next. Operating system actually two parts. Already I given one diagram, right? That is operating system interacts with your hardware and operating system provide a user interface runs an application. Like these are the two parts of operating system. Operating system, the part which is interact with your hardware, that part we call it as a kernel. Operating system which provide user interface, run an applications, that part we call it as a shell part. Whether it is whatever the type of operating system it is, it should be having two parts. One is kernel part, another one is a shell part. The kernel interacts with the hardware. Kernel manages hardware management, disk management, process management, network management, memory management. These are all done by, so basically entire device management by your kernel part of operating system only. What is shell part of operating system? Shell provide a user interface. Shell run an applications. You know, if you are using a Linux or a Unix operating system, you will get a shell is a bash shell you are getting. So that is a born again shell. And there is a born shell, updated version is born again shell. Okay, bash shell, that is called a bash shell. Different type of shells, also there T shell, C shell, K shell kind of stuff. So these are the about kernel and shell. Last one is user interface, CLI, command line interface, GUI, graphical user interface. We are using Windows operating system. Windows operating system basically graphical user interface. You can use your system with a direct graphical user interface. Like I want to check my IP address with GUI, I can able to it. I want to run an application with GUI interface, I can directly open an application, I will run it. So that is a GUI interface, graphical user interface. CLI, command line interface. You know, Linux and Unix are very powerful, having powerful CLI base. Means you can control your system, you can manage your system, you can run your system things using command lines. Using command lines. Using command lines. Okay. So that is a command line interface. Of course, text-based user interface or terminal-based interfaces are there. So generally in a CLI, you cannot able to do certain tasks in direct CLI base. It is little complicated. So we use a TUI based to manage certain things like a firewalls or network related management. So we can do by TUI interface. So CLI, GUI, TUI. Mainly CLI, GUI. Mainly CLI, GUI. Graphical user interface, command line interface. Okay. So again, operating system basically two parts. One is kernel, another one is a shell. Kernel interacts with the hardware. Okay. It manages hardware devices, hardware components. It manages process management, network management, memory management, disk management kind of stuff. Shell interacts with user, provide user interface, runs user applications, okay, user commands. Different type of shells are there. So currently in Unix and Linux, both are using a bash shell, born again shell. Coming to the user interfaces, guys, CLI user interface, command line interface, GUI graphical user interface. Okay, up to here.
Yes, sir.
I think today people are getting sleep.
No, sir.
It is slow class now. Don't sleep. Guys, different type of operating systems are there in a basis of different purposes kind of stuff. Here it is. First one is SOS and NYS, simple operating system and network operating system. Okay. SOS, NYS, simple operating system, network operating system. Simple operating system means it is a desktop based operating system. Generally, desktop based operating system. I'm using Windows 10. That is a desktop based operating system. You are using Windows 11. That is a desktop based operating system. Windows XP, Windows 7. These are all these are all simple operating system, desktop based operating system. Network operating systems. So you have a Windows Server 2016, Windows Server 2019, Windows Server 2022, Windows Server 2003, Windows Server 2008. These are all server operating systems. Linux and Unix basically server based operating systems only. Linux based operating system, Unix based operating systems are server based operating system only. What is this server and desktop based operating system, guys? Server operating systems, sorry, desktop based operating system, we can run different type of applications like user and operating system. I'm using a machine, I need a desktop operating system. I want to run applications, I want to play games, I do programming, I do multimedia things, I listen to the music, I play videos, I do web browsing. Okay, I become a client to a server. So this is a desktop based operating system for people do multiple type of tasks under their system. That is a desktop operating system. Server operating systems are built-in features or roles, and also you can install certain kind of applications in the server. Then server become a server can provide a certain services. Okay, so server having a that built-in certain features or roles, or by installing certain row packages in the server, or by installing certain application in the server operating system become a server which provide a different type of services. For example, DHCP services, DNS services, mail related services, web services, VPN services, remote desktop services, deployment services, database services. Okay, different type of services can provide from a server through network. Means desktop operating system we install applications, we use an applications, but we don't provide anything to anyone. But we are able to access different type of services from servers, right? You are accessing web pages, means you are a client. Someone providing these web pages means it is a web server. Okay, that is a desktop operating system and server operating system. Guys, do you understand this? SOS, NYS, server operating system, desktop operating system.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next one is user and task type of operating system. User based, task based operating systems. Single user, single task, single user, multitask, multi-user, multitask. Single user, single task. Okay, it means only one user at a time can able to log in, and only one task he can able to perform at a time. Example, DOS based operating systems are single user, single task operating system. Okay, not because of DOS is CLI, it is because of that operating system is like that. Single user, single task. Single user multitask based operating system means at a time only one user can log in, at only once he can able to log in. Single user multitask operating system. Okay, single user multitask like a Windows operating systems, both server operating system and desktop operating system from Microsoft Windows are single user multitask, means only one user can log in at a time and we can perform multiple tasks. Okay, multi-user multitask. What is multi-user multitask? So multiple users can log in to a server or a system either directly or remotely. They can able to log in. Okay, multiple user accounts can log into a system directly or remotely, and we can run multiple tasks also. Best example is Linux and Unix operating systems are a multi-user multitasking operating systems. Okay, not only these guys, there is some other operating systems are there. Example, mobile phone operating systems. Nowadays, mobile phones are become more popular, that is smart mobiles. We know certain names for smart mobile phones operating system. Most popular is Android. Second one is iOS, right? So there is always a question, what is the difference between Android OS and iOS? Based on operating system and their architecture, I am not commenting. Based on what the features we are getting as the per users, like people who are using a Apple mobile phone and people who are using Android based mobile phones. Android is a open source type. It is spread over the globally. Okay, so Android applications can be developed by any user, can distribute that applications through Google Store, through the Google App Store kind of stuff, and also they can distribute through simple APK files. You can download Google means Android application from Play Store, or you can download from third-party sites like a APK file and install, and you can run it. Whereas Apple App Store is there. Apple App Store, from only Apple App Store you have to download application, either paid or free versions. Okay, so no third-party entertainment in the Apple. Only Android can able to do that one. Of course, cost-wise difference is there. Android is comparatively lesser the cost than Apple mobiles. Okay. Next one is lot of applications can run easily on Android because of there is a multiple applications are created and distributed. So that too for Android based applications only higher compared to Mac. But Mac is security wise, Mac is more secure compared to Android because no other third party access is not there. Not only Android and iOS guys, so find out any other differences, the difference between Android and iOS also. Not only these two things, other operating systems are there. One is like a Symbian used by Nokia earlier versions. Okay, Not even it is a smartphone, but they use this in their operating system. Tizen from Samsung, I think so, and BlackBerry from BlackBerry only. BlackBerry OS is there. Before this Android and iOS, BlackBerry is there, and Windows operating system is also there earlier. And later it is gone, then later Nokia Lumina series came. So Nokia Lumina series with Windows Phone operating system, and from Windows 10 onwards it is stopped giving, and maybe they are going to release next time. Not only these guys, these are the mobile phone operating system, but real-time operating systems are there. Real-time operating systems are developed based on the hardware, a specific hardware. So they design a specific type of operating system which is not runs on any other hardwares. Okay, very simple. Your rocket scientists are there, satellite management is there, even AC kind of stuff is there. Okay, so they are all using real-time operating system. So no other common. It is not a other common operating system like a Windows or Linux operating systems. Okay. Another one is distributed operating system is also there. I didn't written here. Distributed operating system used to share their workloads to other systems using distributed operating system to run a distributed applications. That's it for these parts. You guys understand up to here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is the difference between Windows operating system and Linux operating system. So this is the basic points are there here, guys. Linux is a open source operating system. A lot of people think open source means free operating system, and some people reverse it like a vice versa type. Free operating system or a free application means it is a open source. No. Okay? Not at all. So open source means the source code of application is available to everyone. Source code of that particular application or an operating system is available to everyone. So Linux is an open source. Linux kernel is open source. If you go to this site, it is a Linux kernel. You can download Linux kernel. Linux means actually it is a kernel. So you can download Linux kernel and you can develop your own operating system. You can develop your own operating system and you can distribute your operating system to others like Ubuntu, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, okay, Fedora, CentOS, Debian, different type of Linux distributions are there. So then, so all these are created from Linux kernel. So each individual developer develop different ways. Okay, coming to the Windows guys, Windows it's not an open source. The source code is completely sealed. How it is manufactured, how to update the source code, it is not available. It is not an open source, it is proprietary of Microsoft. Whereas Linux don't have any proprietary, but it is developed by Linus Torvald. This Linus Torvald is also developed at GitHub. This Linus Torvald also developed the GitHub. Linus Torvald. If you want, you can check his TED Talk in YouTube. Okay, like that. So he's the guy who is behind this Linux kernel and as well as a GitHub also. Git, not GitHub. Windows operating system, basically GUI based operating system and less CLI usage. Whereas the Linux and Unix operating system mainly CLI based. Commands are very important. Commands are very powerful. It's very powerful CLI based. Compared to Windows, which is used very less graphical user interface, sometimes no also. Microsoft will create this Windows based operating system and distribute it as a new one. In Linux, Linux, different type of distributors are there. So they will take the Linux kernel and develop their operating system at their own. Okay, including Kali Linux is also one of the Linux based operating system used for a hacking purpose. In Windows, the files and folders are not case sensitive. In Linux, the files and folders are case sensitive. Windows is you have to use a Windows-based operating system. Of course, you have to pay for a licenses. In Linux, it is generally license is free. To use your operating system, it is free. But only thing is you want to support, you have to pay. Virus free. Linux is a virus free. That is one thing we have to tell. Most of the viruses are created for Windows based operating system. Most of the viruses for a Windows based operating system. Where Linux do not have any self-executable .exe executables are not there. So obviously Linux won't affect on a virus won't affect on a Linux based systems. In Windows-based operating system, we have a desktop type OSs, server type OSs are there. Like Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, desktop-based operating system, 2008 server, 2012 server, 2016 server, 2019 server, a server operating system. In Linux, actually Linux is server-based operating system, not for a desktop purposes in general. Windows operating system, generally it is a user friendly. If you have a desktop based operating system, even you don't require a high level training to use a Windows based system. But as Linux, it's a CLI based, compulsory need a trained professional to work with the Linux based systems. And do not forget two more important points, guys. There's a few important points. So last 2 points are very important, very easy to remember. Windows is a single user multitasking operating system, whereas a Linux is multi-user multitasking operating system. To run basically a Windows-based operating system, we need a lot of hardware requirement, like CPU utilization high, RAM utilization increases, installation location of in a hard disk is also required more space. Whereas a Linux is a basically CLI is more in it. Okay, so multi-user multitasking and less hardware footprint it will take. It is a less hardware footprint means it is utilizes CPU, RAM, and the disk space is very less. Guys, understand the points?
Sir, Windows is not multi-user.
Not multi-user. Multi-user means multiple users can be there, but cannot be accessed at a time. But Linux, you can access multiple users at a time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. when you say open source, compulsory you must know what is open source. The source code of an application or an operating system is available to everyone. Okay, so these are the differences between Linux and Windows. Okay, so next part I am going to discuss about a Windows 10 certain features, some features of Windows 10 and some requirements, licensing, plus there is a certain services we use in a Linux. You already know disk management. What is registry? What is services? What is if system is slow, what will happen? You know already what is disk cleanup, system checking, kind of stuff. If application is not running or application having problem, then what to do? What is BSOD and what is safe mode? What is system restore? Also, we'll try to do these things. We'll see once more. I'll take a break.